And we're back with another episode. It's a Super Bowl episode of the Huge Pop Sports Podcast. It's me. It's that MATT, and of course, riding with me as always, Huge Pop himself.
What's up? What's guys? How you guys doing on Super Bowl weekend?
We got the game on Sunday. We have the Chiefs reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the NFC champions, the team that should have lost to the Detroit Lions, the San Francisco 49ers.
That's some harsh. Okay. Yeah. That's some bold stuff, man.
I mean, okay, listen. The Lions all but gave that game to San Francisco in the second half.
They did. I agree with that.
It was gift wrapped to them. Mm-hmm. A fumble, not going for it, not taking their points. But I digress. We're not the same old Lions, people. We're just not.
Right.
Okay? We're just not the same old Lions. This is brand new Lions, the new attitude, and next year, I'm not saying we'll be in the Super Bowl, but next year we make another run at it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Now, for the game on Sunday, we have all the intangibles. We have good offense on both sides of the ball. Patrick Mahomes never disappoints. Brock Purdy's coming into his own with that electric offense with CMC, Debo, Kittle, that whole group. Both have really solid defense. It's going to be a good game. And, so before we get started, is there anything that what's your insights? What do you think about the playoffs as a whole, or leading into this?
The playoffs all together. I think they had some great games. I think they've seen some teams come into their into form. For instance, the Packers. Daryl's here. I'm let him in.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl.
What's up, man?
Not much. We're just talking the playoffs and Super Bowl before we start talking to you. So, but yeah, the Packers came into their own. Before I get any further, Matt, this is my buddy Daryl underneath you. He's a big sports fan. I suppose he has some stuff to talk about himself. But no, Packers came in. They surprised me. They came into their own. I was afraid that Detroit would have to play them. Thank goodness that they faltered just like the Lions did against the 49ers. They faltered against Dallas. They faltered against the 49ers too. Whatever. But what I've noticed is tight end quarterback combination. If you have a tight end that's good, like Kelsey, and a quarterback that's amazing, like Mahomes, same thing happened with with Detroit's quarterback. They had a great tight end. I think a tight end quarterback combination is important to win the big game. And so far there, I would compare. I sat there talking to somebody. I would almost compare Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey to Tom Brady and Gronk. That's how good they are.
I mean, it's not far off. Looking back, they almost have the two teams almost have parallel. The franchises, as far as like the championship runs, they've almost ran parallel with one another, because you have Tom Brady and his group of guys on that defense that weren't necessarily all pros, but they got the job done and they played as a team and they got the job done. But on the offensive side, Tom Brady always had a guy like a Randy Moss, like Wes Welker, like Gronk, like Aaron Hernandez, like all those guys. He had offensive weapons, and that's all. You look at Patrick Mahomes. He has Isaiah Pacheco. He has Travis Kelce. He has Kadarius Toney. He's got plenty of weapons on that offense too. So they just continue to win because they have great coaching as well.
And they have Taylor Swift.
That right there is the most annoying thing. Because so just so you know, Daryl, I am a Lions fan at number one. I will always rock the Lions because that's home state. Never, I bleed Honolulu blue. But as a kid growing up, there was only two other teams that really they showcased in Michigan, and that's the Steelers or the Kansas City Chiefs. I chose to rock with Kansas City over Pittsburgh.
Wow.
So, they had like Christian Okoye, they had Derek Thomas,
Tony Gonzalez.
I chose to rock with the KC Chiefs instead of the Steelers.
Yeah. Not a bad call. Especially not now.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the playoffs so far leading up to this, Daryl?
Oh man, I'm not really surprised too much about how it's all shaking out, man. I do agree with you all both that there has to be, I think the determining factor, man, is the difference in the tight end and the quarterback relationship. I think there's a direct correlation between the two, I do think that, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have now become the greatest duo of all time when it comes to that fact. So, I think that's huge, but also I wouldn't put it past just the defensive side of things. The Kansas City Chiefs have the youngest defense in the NFL right now, and they're building. It's going to continue. They're only going to continue to get better. They had a down year with receivers at the beginning of the year, and they've got hot at the right time. Their defense got really hot at the right time, and that always helps. But I'm not really surprised, man. I think what killed, when going back to the tight ends and quarterback thing, I think what killed the Ravens is, one, we didn't run. I'm a Ravens fan. I actually went to the KC Baltimore game. Very disappointed, man. Very disappointed. But I think the biggest thing was outside of them not running the ball was the fact that they put Mark Andrews back in the lineup. I think they should. I don't know why they rushed to get him back. I know he's a all pro tight end, but man, the connection that Isaiah Likely and Lamar Jackson had was becoming one of those tight end and quarterback connections. And I think they kind of ruined that flow. They tried to force the ball to him. Mark Andrews had a couple balls where he didn't get open, and I think, or he caught him and he didn't really do much with the ball. I think if that had been Isaiah Likely, he's better with the ball in his hand, And so when it comes down to the playoffs, I think that's really been a determining factor. One, defense has been, people's defense have turned it on at the right time. Detroit Lions literally gave that game away. They should be in the Super Bowl, man. Like that was nothing really that much that the 49ers did. I think the Detroit Lions just got away from the running game. The Ravens got away from the running game. So both the teams that are not in it that lost, I don't think it's as much of a testament to the teams that are in it as much as it is to the teams that aren't. They just stopped doing what they knew to do, So
yeah, I agree. How do you take the ball out of the hands of one of the most electric running backs in the league, Jahmyr Gibbs? That killed me. That he fumbled one time and then you don't go back to him.
Right.
That makes zero sense.
None at all.
My 11-year-old even pointed that out. My son, he goes, "Why aren't we running the ball? Like, why are we forcing this now?" I'm like,
well, that's the kind of thing that happened on my first college football game was Michigan Appalachian State, and Mike Hart was the badass running back that Michigan had, and he was on the field warming up, and he had a couple good runs of 10, 15 yards, and he wasn't hurt. He just had his helmet off at the sideline. They didn't appear to have any injury, and they sit him for like the second, third, and partial of the fourth quarter. I'm like, everybody's going, why isn't he running the ball?
Right.
And then they try to catch up when Appalachian State goes ahead, and now you bring Hart back in, and you're like, what? He should have been there in the beginning, So
never stopped.
Yeah.
100%.
So it kills me.
Yeah.
So we can jump in to your segment.
All right. So Huge Pot Sports Podcast. So on the below us, we have Daryl Eubanks, a really good friend of mine through a lot of stuff. I met him through foster care, working at Bethel Bible Village. But he has some good stuff. He played football in high school, but what I caught was when he was with Carson Newman playing college football D2. And Daryl, if you could tell us about your experience getting to D2 football while playing D2 football, and what took you away from football to end your career.
Man, so the experience getting there, man, I always wanted to play college football. Always my ultimate goal, of course, like every other kid in America for the most part, is to play professionally. And so while that didn't happen, man, whatever opportunity I got to continue that process of playing ball as long as I could, that's what I was going to do. And so really enjoyed that, man. Just I got blessed because I had a really solid senior year, but I didn't really do the things that it took to get noticed until late. And I had some other guys that did on my team. And so they had people coming out to see them, and, just had a solid year. So every time somebody would come out for, they had a recruit coming out to see them, they would wind up seeing me and offering me too. So it kind of worked out in my favor, man. And once I got to college, man, it was a good experience. I really enjoyed playing D2. I really enjoyed playing at Carson Newman, man. I had a great team, great coaching staff, and, definitely fell short in some areas that I would like to. But overall, man, it was a great experience. And, I mean, it was awesome opportunity. You see a lot of guys nowadays going to the league from D2, so it's not really a place. It's nothing to look down upon. There's some
got a message, homie.
Really good competition, and it's an awesome thing. I love doing it. I don't regret it one bit. Would love to go back if I could, honestly.
How hard was the work to put in? How hard was it working out, keeping your schedule straight, going to school, practice, and all that?
Oh man, it was a full-time job, man. Full-time job. I not only did I play football, but I also was a music major, which is crazy. I was the first one to graduate with music and played football, with a music degree and played football. So that was the second busiest major on campus outside of nursing. So that was crazy. Then I also worked a couple of jobs. I worked at a church, and I worked in the mall. So I had several jobs, and on top of that, balance a relationship, And so it was a lot, man. It was hard to keep my head above ground. That was, I say, one of my mistakes that I would have looking back, though. Sometimes the coaches would question my commitment with football because I was pulled so many other places. And the way that D2 scholarships work is they don't really give out full ride scholarships. They don't have a very limited amount. And so I got a lot of my scholarship through academics. And then I got the remainder through football as time went on. And so that kind of hurt me because I had to make sure I maintained a certain level of commitment to my academics because I had scholarships for that. Whereas, and so it pulled me away from football more so than I needed to. Still had to make money. My parents my parents were fortunate, and they could have paid for my stuff, but that's not who I am as a person. So I definitely just didn't let them do that. I paid most of my way through college and stuff like that. And so yeah, man, it was hard. It was tough to balance both of it, but I loved it, man. And I can see it now in my life now that it's paying off that I did that, because I mean, what I do now as an entrepreneur just goes back into that, man. Just the work ethic, putting in the work to get out what you want. So I don't regret it one bit, man. It just taught me some good life lessons, and it's something I can still apply today.
You have anything yet?
So in your league, or in the league that you played in, were there any guys that you might have played against that are playing in the league?
Yeah, man, there's several. I can't remember them by name. We had several on my Chris Jones, the punter for the Cowboys for a while, the one that hit the big scoreboard when they first put it up. He played at Carson. He played with me. There's a couple guys on my team that wound up making it to the practice squads. One for the Kansas City Chiefs, actually one for the Indianapolis Colts. One's name was Mario. The other one's name was I forgot his name. It's been so long since I went back. But then there's a guy from Carson that got picked up by the Jaguars. He played receiver. A guy from Lenore Ryan that we played against that got picked up. So yeah, there's several, man, that I just played against within my conference that are D2 that went on. And some of them actually made some noise in the NFL. So definitely great talent, man. I think one of the biggest things talent-wise, one of the biggest things that I've seen difference between D1, D2 is the linemen size and their speed. But when it comes to skill position, man, I think there's a lot of similarities between skill positions. Where it looks at look at DBs, receivers, even like linebackers as they're getting smaller. As the years go on, linebackers are getting smaller, and it's more relying on speed than it is on size.
So what would you say would be your huge moment in your college career? What was the most memorable moment?
Most memorable moment, man. I there's just a couple of big tackles, man. I'm all about the big hits. So I think that there's probably two. One was like this just huge hit I made. There was on a quarterback, he was getting flushed out. Well, I had my defense end on the left side. He was getting flushed out to the right. I got sent on a blitz, and the quarterback came smashed him. That was a big one, man. Just a big celebratory moment. Then another one was a blocked punt that I blocked a punt and blew up the middle of the wall they had, blocked the punt, and then we recovered it for a touchdown. So just some big moments like that, man. Just the big hits, man, was probably one of the most memorable as far as like personal goals that I had. And then one of the biggest team, man, we made it to the game before the national championship. So we got really close twice. And just going out to Valdosta and playing there, man, traveling on the road. But stuff like that, man. Traveling. We went to got to go to several places and see several NFL stadiums while we were out in different cities and playing and stuff like that. So things like that were also awesome to experience.
Now, you got an injury that took you out of college ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. So I think that was the biggest disappointment because, like I said, I'm a hitter, and so the injury was I had torn my labrum. I tore both of them actually playing ball. So I tore one when I was I think my sophomore year, got it surgically repaired, and then I tore the other one the next year, man. So that really kind of put a damper on the way I enjoyed playing. And I wasn't really able to adjust from there, man. I still played a good bit, but I didn't have the skill set. I didn't build the skill set and rely on my skill set as much as I should have. So those two injuries definitely messed me up. And then after college, I was preparing for the NFL Combine. I got invited to a regional combine, and I tore my meniscus 2 weeks before the my pro day in the combine, and so that kind of messed me up there as well. So just injuries kind of plagued that for sure.
So I know you're busy, man. So I'm gonna let you. I want you to talk about your fitness thing, and then I think we're gonna get your prediction and let you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So after I finished playing ball, man, I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do, man. I really didn't have a concrete plan. Started working at the group home where we met at, and you just met some people along the way. I was working at the group home, but I was also working part-time at Gold's Gym, and I loved working out. My dad got me into working out early. He wasn't a big workout guy, but he was all about getting up early and grinding. So we got up early and we just went to the gym, and whether that meant like playing racquetball or whatever, we just got up early and we did that. And I got into lifting weights. And I had a friend of mine who she bodybuilt, and I started bodybuilding, and I started falling in love more and more with the body and how it could transform. And so I became a professional bodybuilder. I started my own fitness company, Still Life Fitness, which is on my hat right here. Doing that full time and training people online, training people in person, doing group classes, doing small group classes, and out here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it's called Still Life Fitness, like I said, man, and love doing it, man. It's been something that has definitely transformed my life and helped me to just find my niche where I can still feel like I'm competitive and still growing and still pursuing making myself better in every aspect, whether that be mentally when I walk in the gym on days I don't feel like it, physically just having, feeling well and moving well and looking the way I want to look. And, even emotionally, man, it's a good place. It's a good getaway, a good escape. Nobody can bother me. I can put my headphones on and I can go to work and get after it. So
work out 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week?
So I work out 6. I would do 5 days of like resistance training. Then I have a day where I just do active stuff. So like I'll go do like some mobility work, some like plyometrics, and then I'll rest. I rest 1 day a week right now. And then and I do cardio about 3 days a week. That'll probably bump up. I just got back into my prep season for bodybuilding. So I have a show in September. So we'll start adding in more and more cardio as we go and cutting some more carbs to get lean and mean, man. Get ready for the stage.
So what was your best performance on bodybuilding on stage? You came close to winning one, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've won several. So I won, and I got my pro card in 2019. So what that entails is I was back then I was doing classic physique. So that is when you have like board shorts on, and you basically you have a class. So you have guys that are around your same height or weight, and then if you win your class, then you go against all the other guys that have won their class, and then you win the overall. And the show that I was competing for was a pro qualifier, so I wound up getting my pro card in 2019 for men's physique. And then last year in 2022, I did the same process for bodybuilding. So bodybuilding is where you see like you got basically like the man thong on, like your legs are showing, glutes are showing, everything's popping. So same process, man. There's a heavyweight, there's a middleweight, there's a lightweight. So I've always been in the heavyweight category in natural bodybuilding because I do it all naturally. I don't take any steroids or anything like that. And so I won my league, I won my class, and then I wind up winning the overall as well. That was in Connecticut where I got that, and so I'm a pro in both men's classic physique and as well as our men's physique as well as bodybuilding. So, but my biggest moment, man, was probably my last year competing. Man, I just got as lean. I got the most lean, best look I've ever had. Just came in like super shredded, ready to rock. So this year is just about beating it. So I took a year and a half to just not off, but a year and a half to grow. So off season, growth season. Got up to like the heaviest I've been, which is 240. Still kept some good muscle, like put up some really good muscle. And so now it's time to start cutting. Usually I get down to like 185, 190. Last time I step on stage. Yeah. So throughout the next 30 to 40 weeks, I'll probably lose somewhere between, 30 to 40, maybe 50 pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
No, hell yeah, dude.
I'm serious. I wish I could do that.
Right? Man, that's awesome, man. So, Matt, you're gonna take it over for talk more about Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
I'm about to move out the way. Easy.
Oh
no, sir. Thank you, though. Yes, sir. Oh, yes,
so
sir.
both teams are pretty much. Before we get into the actual game, there's been some little bit of gamesmanship based by the NFL, if you will. It came out this week that the NFL gave the Kansas City Chiefs keys to the Super Bowl host, Las Vegas Raiders, their facilities to practice. And the San Francisco 49ers have been practicing at UNLV at their facilities. And the field texture is totally different at UNLV. They rated it because the rating system is 1 through 10, and the rating for UNLV's facility is a 6.5. And the stuff that Kansas City's been dealing with in Las Vegas is a 9.5, 10. So there's already a little bit of gamesmanship. The Kansas City Chiefs are at a better practice facility than the 49ers. How would you put that in play? Like, will that make big of a difference come Sunday?
I think it will, man. I think it's just a level of comfort that they'll have that they won't. They'll know how they'll be able to cut, how they'll be able to move, and how they'll be able to, throw the ball, how they'll be able to, block, step, all those. Football is a game of inches, and so when it comes to being used to a certain facility and the grass, the texture of the grass, the turf, whatever it may have you, it does play a role, on, especially because this game I think is going to be so heavy in the run game, and cutting is going to be huge, and so I think it does, have an effect, and just being used to being in that stadium, in that atmosphere, in that condition, whether the weather be controlled or not, just being in there, getting used to walking through there, getting your warm up done, the psychological part of it. So I don't think it's like a game changing in a sense of like, I don't think it's going to make or break, but I think it does have an effect.
I would say so, man. I would say, it's just like, I don't know. if that came from NFL needs to be reexamined of what their gamemanship, their fairness. I mean, come on. Well, we got a stack of refs. I don't know.
It was done. There was a purpose behind it because they wanted to keep both camps separated as much as possible. And somehow it was like a luck of the draw kind of thing. Kansas City ended up with was given the Las Vegas Raiders practice facility, and San Francisco's dealing with outside conditions and all that all week.
I think the weird part is, man, all they gotta do is make a schedule and say, hey, from this hour to this hour, you use the facility. From that hour you use the facility. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like the NFL is. I mean, even I could go back to the NFL last week where they had that ref 2 weeks ago. Where we had the ref with the most home penalties thrown, penalties thrown against the home team for the Ravens. It's like stuff like that. It's like I don't think they think through the process of everything they're doing and what can be said about it. And so, I mean, but we can always find something to bash. But I mean, I just don't think it makes sense. Like, why not just split the time up? And say, hey, like if y'all tell us what schedule y'all want, you tell us what schedule you want. This is when you use it. This is when you use it. And then other times we're setting up for the Super Bowl halftime show, blah, 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 whatever else. And you do Usher's performance and all that stuff. So,
but at the end of the day, right? I mean, even at the end of the day, it's talk about the Lions losing to the Cowboys that game. You talk about the Lions losing to the 49ers 2 weeks ago. You talk about the practice field. At the end of the day, it's how do you perform on the field?
Yeah.
These guys are professionals. These guys have been in every situation. They played on similar fields as the Los Angeles Raiders practice field. End of the day, you play these guys millions and millions of dollars to do what they do best. And it might affect their mindset maybe, but skill wise, you're not 1 week's not going to change your skill. You know what I'm saying? You're still going to know how to run it. And I think it's a crappy move by the NFL. I see why they might have had to do it, but I don't think it's going to make a difference in the game. I mean, they're still the 49ers, they're still the Chiefs, right? And they still have the same talent, and it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. So the X factors, in my opinion, we'll just dive into that for the 49ers. Obviously, CMC is going to be an X factor. That was when they played the Lions. I laid out a whole game plan based around what the Lions needed to do to beat the 49ers. And lo and behold, they did it for the first half. Apparently, they took their game plan and ripped it up and threw it in the garbage. Be like, we don't need that anymore. But anyway, we shut CMC down on the second half, or in the first half. Oh,
you probably had to go. Go ahead.
Okay. CMC is definitely the X factor. You have him, Kerry Kittle, Debo.
Right.
On offense, I honestly think if the end of the offensive line, it's always going to be I played O-line, so I always preach O-line is the X factor as well, because if the O-line don't keep Brock Purdy upright, they don't win. It's simple as that. They need to create the holes for a guy like CMC to get through. So between CMC and the O-line, that's the X factors on offense for the 49ers, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, I was pretty impressed. I mean, we can say everything we want about the Detroit Lions, and they did give that game away. Nothing other than they, for some stupid reason, stopped playing football for the third quarter. And then they wanted to play catch up at the end. But Brock Purdy, man, he impressed the heck out of me that game. At the end of it, he came around and he looked really good. So, yeah, I mean, but CMC, you're gonna have to contain him. If they can't contain him, it's gonna be a long day for Kansas City.
Sure. I think the X factor in the game, man, is gonna be Fred Wagner. Honestly, man, for the 49ers, man, if they can lock up Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes has to rely on Rashee Rice, and if Kadarius Toney plays, Kadarius Toney and Pacheco, like, I think if they make them one-dimensional, the 49ers, then they have a chance to win this game. But if they can't take Travis Kelce out of the game, man, I think it's going to be a long night. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest X factor of all, man. I think if you lock down Travis Kelce, I think you take that away because nobody else has been dependable. You know, like nobody else on the Kansas City Chiefs have been dependable. Their defense has turned it on at the right time, and that's what's really in Travis Kelce. And that's what's really get them these last several games is just that connection and their defense playing, you know, insane. But when it comes to the receivers, Kadarius Toney still hasn't proven anything to me. You know, Rashee Rice is pretty solid, you know, and Pacheco's pretty solid. But that's also because they've had Travis Kelce as a factor that, you know, has been able to you got to focus on him so much that then other people can be successful. But if you can take him out the game and make them have to use those other guys, then yeah, so I think that's going to be huge. Fred Wagner, how he plays that matchup.
That on defense, it was definitely him and Bosa. Those two guys are going to make it a living nightmare.
Yeah.
For Patrick Mahomes, and of course, the connection between Mahomes and Kelce is the X factor over in Kansas City. I mean, that's just a given. You can game plan that all day long, but like Mike Tyson once said, you can have a game plan, but once you get punched in the mouth, that game plan goes out the window.
Right, exactly.
You guys, I think you need to. Okay, so I'm going to go back to like everybody said everyone laughed at my comment, but Taylor Swift. If you remember, Taylor Swift, when she first came into the KC and was in the press box and all this stuff, Kelce had a string of games where he dropped everything because his mind wasn't right. His mindset was not there. His mindset better be there, not focused up in the booth where Taylor Swift sits, or because if he could be a positive for the 49ers if he's not in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got a question for you. Okay, so Taylor was at the divisional game, right? When they beat Baltimore, correct? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he caught all 11 passes he was thrown.
He did.
For 116 yards and a score. He was 11 for 11. He broke the all-time record for yards in postseason. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. He's arguably the greatest tight end of all time.
I would say yes. He's one of the best.
The only other guy that comes to mind is Tony Gonzalez. The only other guy that I would put ahead of Travis Kelce. He'll be fine. Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. He'll be too busy with Mama Kelce and Jason Kelce up in the booth, having a good time.
Okay. We'll see.
I don't think that played that big of a factor, Scott.
Yeah. Okay. When I call you, I don't want you to have a breakdown like you did with the Minnesota Vikings. Okay.
Hey, listen, I was 10 years old. But so we got the Super Bowl tomorrow, Sunday. San Francisco comes in at 1.5-point favorites.
Really?
That is one of the closest lines I've in recent history for the Super Bowl. San Francisco is a 1.5-point favorite to win that ball game.
That's shocking.
It is.
Yeah.
Needless to say, pretty sure you know who I got.
Right.
Going Kansas City. I think in a tight game, they win by 7.
All right, Daryl.
Man, I think I'm at the pool. I think so. The way that the 49ers have been playing, the way Brock Purdy's been playing, I think it's been phenomenal. He's, definitely turned it on. He's definitely proven himself recently in the last, two games, just bringing his team back, at the end. So that's been phenomenal to watch. The 49ers have definitely, came on, and Christian McCaffrey's been doing his thing. But I will have to say, man, that I'm going to have to pull the Kansas City Chiefs as well, because I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, like I keep on going back to, their defense has gotten hot at the right time. Like, they got hot at the end of right at the top of the playoffs, and they've been riding that wave ever since. And the 49ers, man, honestly, where they haven't plummeted like the Eagles have or anything like that, but they've definitely these last 2 games, man, they just had to pull it out the end. It hasn't looked very convincing, especially compared to how they have been playing. And we've seen how I still got faith in Brock Purdy. I'm a fan, but we've seen if they get pressure on Brock Purdy, if Chris Jones goes off and plays well, how he played against the Ravens, and so it's not he hasn't proven it to me that he's going to take it yet. And so, and you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, who's been there, done that, and always does what he needs to do. Even if you look back to last week, man, like it's not like he had an all-world game, but he was the best game manager that there was that there could have been. He didn't throw any picks. He was perfect. He put the ball where he needed to be, and even in dire need and bad situations at the end of the game, he delivered that ball well. So I'm gonna have to pull for the KC Chiefs this week.
All right, Daryl. Daryl.
Yes.
Matt. Yeah, I don't know if Daryl remembers. 6 years ago, I think. I have a picture of Daryl in a shower with. I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan because his Gators couldn't get it done.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. Keep that here. Brittany, Cody, I 100% agree with you. Taylor Swift's lucky number is 13. Brock Purdy's jersey is number 13. Need I say more? I've impressed with what Brock Purdy did against probably one of the best defenses in the league, Detroit Lions. When you have that defense coming at him like he did, he pulled it through at that second half. I'm wondering, Daryl, Matt, if you guys are up for the Ice Bucket Challenge, if your team loses, are you willing to pour a bucket of ice water over your head and say, I should have voted for the 49ers? That's my question to y'all, because I know I'll do that when I might do that next year because the 49ers aren't going to lose. Brock Purdy and CMC, they're going to take these Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to win by 10, and there you go. Are you willing to take?
I'll let you know right now. I'm not a fan of the Chiefs, but I'm pulling for the Chiefs, so I'll do the challenge. I think there's no way that they lose this game.
All right.
I don't think there's any way they lose this game.
All right.
See, now, how warm is it where you live? It's that.
It don't matter if you got a bucket of ice on for your head. I'll show you my cooler.
I'll be having to go outside. See, this is some bullshit. This is some straight bullshit. But I got it.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'll do it.
And same thing back at you.
I will. All right. But that might happen next year because my team's not losing. So.
Nah, man. I think the Chiefs. I just don't see it, man. I don't think the 49ers got it. I think they shouldn't even be here. Like if you really look at it. But let's do it. Let's do it.
I mean, I will say this: you're what you said just a second ago. They shouldn't be there because Detroit Lions shouldn't be there. But what I'm saying is, Brock Purdy impressed me in that second half, bringing them back, and they were against one of the best defenses in the league. I think they can handle KC and Mahomes. I really do.
All right, let's see it.
That's my pick. I have. I mean, and no standing in a shower this time. Come on, man.
I'll do it outside. I'll be outside with it.
I mean,
so how did you like the national championship game, Daryl? What did you think of the Natty? Because our boys won.
Yeah, man. I think it was a good game, man. I mean, it was fun to watch. I was honestly, man, hoping that Bama was gonna make it. In all reality, I'm not a Bama fan, but my girl's a Bama fan, so I was pulling for them. But and I like Penix, and I really wasn't against Michigan, but the whole year just felt off, man. All the stuff and all the drama that was going through is just kind of weird, a weird one. But the national championship was good, and I was glad that a Harbaugh brother got it. I'm a Harbaugh fan when he's with the Ravens, so So yeah, man, it was cool. I'm glad that he got one, and now Harbaugh's going on to be in the NFL, so it'll be interesting. It's a good game.
You think Harbaugh will make a difference to the Chargers?
I like to think so. Yeah, I mean, I think he's got the right mix. He's got a good track record. He's proven himself already. So it's kind of like a Mahomes effect, man. You have no reason to doubt him. I have no reason to doubt him until he gives me a reason to doubt him.
Well, Mahomes will give you a reason to doubt him on Sunday. So there you go.
You said what?
No, come on.
I said Mahomes will give you a reason to doubt him on Sunday. So there you go.
No chance.
There's rumors floating around about talk about Harbaugh for a minute. There's rumors floating around that he is going to bring in or considering bringing in Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback coach. What's your feelings on that? Do you think that's a good fit? Do you think he would be a good get? I mean, looking at his form and everything, I wouldn't want him around my quarterback because I wasn't a fan of his when he was in the league. Just his throw style just didn't look right to me. His throwing style just didn't look right. Wasn't a big Colin Kaepernick fan when he was in the league. So mechanically speaking, I wouldn't want him around my quarterback. He just didn't. So do you think that would be a good fit?
Me personally, yeah. I mean, I don't see the purpose in doing that. I don't know that it'd be a bad fit. I just don't think it's worth the risk. Like he hasn't really proven himself in any way in that capacity, and so I don't really see the purpose in bringing him in. Also, I just think it brings as an unnecessary drama. Like, I love what Kaepernick did and what he stood for. I really think he got kind of gypped and not being able to get another shot in the league. I think he kind of messed himself up, too, with how he handled the pro day he did when they invited him somewhere and they told him that he was going to go somewhere else. But that is beside the point, man. But, yeah, I don't really see the point in doing that, man. I just don't think it brings – there's already going to be enough buzz around the town with having Harbaugh there. So, why bring another story that's going to get, focus off of what needs to be the focus, which is football. And so, yeah, I mean, I didn't really check out his mechanics that much, but they didn't prove to me anything crazy. He didn't look like a technician. He was good. So that was cool, but it'd be like, yeah, I just don't, I don't see it. I don't really see it, but it'd be interesting. It'd be a good story. So I'm not against it, but I don't see the point of doing it.
Right. I would say I agree with you, Daryl, on that. I mean, Kaepernick, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But like Daryl said, I'm not sure if the Chargers need that drama that comes with him. I think Jim Harbaugh creates enough of his own drama to add something else. But that's what Jim Harbaugh is. He's drama. So.
One of my I sent Scott a video because I'm having a hard time putting this up. But I have to get since you're a Ravens fan, I have to get your opinion on. Let me know when you have it up. Of the situation that happened in result of what these guys did. I'm gonna play the clip.
And then both the football people.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Justin Tucker was going to beat your ass, dude. He was going to beat your ass. You know that. Hey.
Me and Patrick were on the sideline in the fourth quarter when Tucker had that chance to cut the lead to one score. If he would have missed that field goal, we were 100% getting a 15-yard flag.
Of course he made it, of course. You can't let us have any fun.
Could you imagine you two sprinting on the field?
Yeah.
Messing with Justin Tucker before the game by throwing the tee off to the side and doing that kind of stuff. What's your feelings on that kind of gamesmanship even before the game starts?
Man, it's a championship game, man. I think all is fair in love and war in that space, man. Like I didn't like it as a Ravens fan. Of course, like I was a little salty, and I was like, man, I hope we kill him. You know what I mean? Like I saw the clip. I saw the clips for the game. I was like, man, I hope Travis Kelce gets hurt. You know what I mean? I'm super salty, like all the things. You know what I mean? But looking back, you know, I was like, okay, Justin Tucker might have did this every that might have been what he did every warm up, or he might have just been being a jerk. You know, like I'm gonna get in their head, and it didn't work out. You know, like so. Like, I don't really know his pregame routine. I don't know if he was trying to mess with them and they just weren't having it. And, like, he just picked with the wrong two people or what, you know. So, at first, I was a little salty. I was a little upset. But, man, like, looking back, man, like, I love it, man. I love talking trash. I love smack talk. I love, like, they was like, no, man, we're just our side of the field. We're warming up. You go find somewhere else. So, yeah, man, I think it was hilarious.
I mean, looking back at, like, some of the stuff that has circled around Justin Tucker, his press conferences are amazing.
Yeah.
And the whole walking in there, just stepping up to the microphone and be like, man, it smells like Updog in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the classic. And then it was like, well, what's up, dog? He's like, not much.
Right.
I was like, you know, and it's hard not to like a guy like that.
Right. Especially a kicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when they're supposed to be kind of like mild-mannered, chill, behind the scenes, he's like, no, like, I'm me, and, like, y'all gonna get me for all of me, you know?
And I think that's why I love Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee was a man's man punter, man. Like, he was right down to the whole Conor McGregor walk.
Yep.
Man, you see where Lamar Jackson won the MVP by a landslide? He had 49 of the 50 votes. So that's your boy.
One person voted for Josh Allen.
Huh?
Yeah, I saw that. One person voted for Josh Allen.
Yeah. So
I'm actually shocked at that. That he won the MVP. Going by statistics, and again, I'm like, I don't watch a lot of Ravens football. It's typically, unless you're playing the Lions, I don't watch it. And looking at the statistics, Dak Prescott, man, like, I hate the Cowboys and I hate Dak Prescott, but he put on statistically speaking, he was the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I think if you look at it from statistics, like, I don't think Lamar Jackson. I mean, you know, his statistics were impressive based off of, like, what he did. I think he was his first he's maybe the first quarterback to get 3,000 yards and over 800 or passing and over 800 yards rushing in his career. He's done it twice, and so, you know, there's things like that where he's just been. When it comes to the term most valuable player on the team, I think if you take Lamar Jackson off that team, they're a completely different team. You know. And I think you can say that with a lot of quarterbacks, for sure. Like, I mean, if that's the case, Patrick Mahomes could win it every year, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, but Patrick Mahomes didn't have the stats to back up to get to match, like, to equate both of them together. I think, like, Lamar Jackson's stat line wasn't super impressive, but it was impressive enough, and he was needed enough on that team to if they didn't have him, it would have been a difference in order to get it. I don't completely agree either. Like, I think that it could have been given to Dak over him. I think it could have been given to Josh Allen based off stats. I think it would have been given to, Christian McCaffrey. But I do think, man. Like,
I think if they take. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. Last thing was, like, I think he just like the games they won in impressive fashion. They beat top tier teams up until the last one, and they did it, like, dominantly. Like, everybody they beat, they put it on the 49ers, they put it on the Lions, they put it on the Dolphins. All the teams that were supposed to be, like, just as good as them during the regular season, like, they came in there and he played phenomenally. Whereas, like, Dak Prescott didn't really show up in those big games. Josh Allen threw interception in those big games, you know, like, so I think Lamar Jackson just had a better track record when it came to, like, big game moments up until the last part.
I'm just going to throw this out there, not to add salt to the already wounds that you guys are going to have on Sunday, but Christian McCaffrey was third on the voting list. Brock Purdy was fourth on the voting list. And way down at 7 was your boy Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying the 49ers have – I'll just let them play on the field.
See, there's the thing that the main reason I'm I'm a Chiefs fan. I've been a Chiefs fan for a while. But aside from that, this team, this offense, has been there before. They have the mentality. They were here last year. And they just it's business as usual with this franchise. And they have a coach that's coached in multiple Super Bowls. There's just too many things that the Chiefs, too many intangibles in my opinion, that the Chiefs have that the 49ers don't have. And there's a meme that I saw 3 days ago. America better hope that the 49ers win, because the last time these two teams met in a Super Bowl and Kansas City won, a global pandemic hit like 3 or 4 weeks later. So let's
but go Niners though. So
Go Niners. I'm switching my pick.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No. Hell no. You're afraid that you got to take an ice bath again, man. No.
I'm just playing.
No, we just don't want a global pandemic. Let's all agree
Yeah,
there.
there you go. We'll all agree with that. So, man, it's been a fun day.
So, we have so is anyone wait a second. Tripping over stuff. That's all I have. My outline is complete.
Yeah.
We have the game Sunday. Everyone if you watch just for the commercials, whatever. That's how my wife used to be. She plays fantasy football. And unfortunately for me, she won this year's fantasy league. And her championship belt's sitting right over there. I'm not allowed to touch it, or I'd bring it up to show you guys. But she's a huge Travis Kelce fan, and that's one of her keepers every year, is that she keeps Travis Kelce locked away for no one to have. But guys, have fun. Everyone that's watching, have fun watching the game. One more question: what are you making to snack on during the Super Bowl? Is that just one? What's your meal? What's your meal for the Super Bowl?
Man, if I do eat anything, I don't know if I'm going to or not yet, because I just started prep up, so I'm trying to start it right. But if I do, man, I'm just gonna throw down some pizza. That's my snack. That counts as a snack. One pizza would be a snack. If I get two or three, that'd be a meal. So
I have a kid's birthday. We work down here at the Children in Crisis, so we have 8 kids in our house that we take care of. And one of our kids' birthday is on his special day. He doesn't call it a birthday, whatever. So, but he wants ribs, so I'm gonna be smoking some ribs. Gonna smoke some just some chicken tenders, some naked chicken tenders, like grilled. And he wants French fries, so I'll probably make those, and I'll probably make some chicken buffalo chicken dip.
There we go.
That's the snack that I'm making. But the buffalo chicken dip. And Andrew hasn't told me what he wants for dinner yet, because we do pizzas on Friday. So it's kind of one of those things where we don't want to overload on pizza.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, man, we can make some. I can make some jelly barbecue, jelly and barbecue and jelly, or grape jelly meatballs. He loves those. Don't knock it until you try it. It's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's a sweet with a spicy. It's actually pretty good. You can't really even tell anyway. But so anyway, thanks for everyone for joining. I don't normally stumble like this. I'm so sorry. But thank you, Daryl, for taking time out of your day to come hang out with us for this hour. It was a lot of fun. I'm really sorry that you have a running back as a quarterback in Baltimore.
Oh, get out of here. Oh man, he had to throw some shade at the end. We'll be back next year.
Back to what? Back to your conference?
Conference championship and lose to Patrick Mahomes again?
Oh, no chance. We got it next year, 100%. I got complete confidence. I'll be at the game again, no matter where it's at.
You still a Gators fan?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Even though
that's gotta be rough.
I'm a die on that hill.
That's gonna be
All right,
rough.
man.
All right, but thank you, everyone. Cody, thank you, Dad, and Kim for stopping in. Appreciate you all. Join us. Scott's got all different shades of shows next week. I'll be back on Wednesday for the WrestleMania 8, 9, 10, and 11. No. Yeah, because we got to – oh, and 12, because we got to do 5 because I ran out of time last week. And then, of course, next week we'll be on this show, we'll be talking about the NBA All-Star Slam Dunk competitions and that kind of stuff because we have the NBA All-Star weekend in the No Fun League. So thank you again for everybody joining, and it was a good time.
Hey, man.